Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Stop your gaze, and with it, stop your understanding. For just a second, stop chasing new events, new videos, new noise, and simply look at what you are looking at. What information enters you every single day? What images, thoughts, headlines do you allow inside yourself without any filter? You may think you are just scrolling, just entertaining yourself, just leaving something on in the background. But that is not true. You are not just a viewer. You are a vessel. You are a receiver. You are a sponge that absorbs everything your gaze is directed at. Content, movies, news, memes, short videos, conversations, arguments. This is not just out there on the internet. It is already inside you. Every piece of information you consume becomes a fragment of your inner world. It shapes your mood, your reactions, your desires, and sometimes even your destiny. And all of this begins with a simple movement of the eyes, with the choice of where you look. Recently, a subscriber asked, "How do I stop watching the news?" The answer is simple and uncomfortable. To stop means to realize that you are hooked. You are not informing yourself. You are feeding someone else's game. The news is not about events. The news is about emotion, about shock, pain, outrage, reaction. Every feed is a pendulum that needs energy. And the stronger your anger, your arguments, your engagement, the more power you give away. Do you understand? It feels like, I'm staying informed. I'm aware. I'm not indifferent. But in reality, you are inside a cellular feeding loop. You have become a battery for someone else's game, for someone else's control, for decisions in which you are nothing more than a statistic. And the most important part, you return voluntarily. You are not watching to understand. You are watching to feel. Again, and again, and again. This is no longer curiosity. It is a dopamine addiction. You were conditioned gently daily. You became dependent on other people's pain, on other people's words, on someone else's reality. For a long time, I couldn't understand why everything kept coming back again and again. Why even when you are right, you still feel like you lost. Why even when you shout the truth, no one hears you. And why justice always looks like struggle, screaming, and pain, instead of silence and light. The answer didn't come immediately. It was unpleasant, almost bitter, but freeing. Everything you are trying to change was designed precisely so that you would fight it, so that you would spend your life on it, your strength, your thoughts, so that you would drain yourself into emptiness while believing you are doing something important. They are not afraid of your struggle, they feed on it. Your scream is their applause, your pain is their profit, your resentment is their power. And every time you say, "I can't take this anymore," they smile, because it means you are still with them. The only way to win is to stop being part of the show, not to fight, but to leave, to let go, to withdraw attention, to cut the supply lines. Silence is a strike. Stillness is power. Non-involvement is an exit from the matrix. If you are in pain, you are still inside. If you argue, you are still feeding it. If you need to prove something, you are still serving. You don't have to be a monk. You can live. You can feel. You can be. But understand this. As long as you fight them, you are with them. And you are losing. You fight. You get angry. You demand justice. And you don't notice that the harder you fight, the deeper you work for the system. You think you are opposing it, but in reality, you are sustaining it. Every emotion you give away is currency. Every flash of anger, every argument, every reaction, all of it feeds what drains you. While you scatter your attention everywhere, you are poor. You are not free. You are a battery. Start observing, not the system, yourself. Ask, where is my attention right now? Why am I watching this? What do I feel? Who benefits from this? You will see it clearly. Every headline is a hook. Every "you must know" is a trap. Every feed is a reason to forget who you really are. Start taking yourself back. Stop discussing people you don't know. Stop reacting to things that are not truly yours. Turn off everything that affects you too strongly. That intensity is a signal. Collect your attention like gold, like a resource, like power, because it is your power. If you don't control your attention, you don't control your life. Remember this: freedom is not about winning, it is about leaving the game. Sit in silence. Hear yourself. Disconnect, and watch how much immediately loses power. How those who lived off your reactions disappear. You are not part of their world. You are your own world, your own source, your own law. You simply forgot. Now remember, you may not believe it, you may think, what will really change if I just watch the news or scroll through someone else's drama? But the truth is this: information is not just knowledge. Information is a form of life. It doesn't just exist, it wants to live inside you. And to survive, it must latch onto your emotion. You watched, and it entered you. You felt something, and you were already infected. You thought it was nothing. But an hour later, you're irritated, arguing with loved ones, or carrying anxiety you can't even explain. That's how parasitic information works. It doesn't come for facts. It comes for food. It triggers a reaction. And you think it's you. But it is speaking through your words, pulling your energy and forcing you to carry it further. You tell others. You post. You share. You discuss. And you become a transmitter. You are no longer a source. You are a relay. That's the trap. You didn't just ruin your mood. You became part of someone else's life, someone else's drama, someone else's vibration. Think about it. How many times a day do you pass on emotions that aren't even yours? How often do you become a carrier of something that has nothing to do with you? Every thought you allow inside will eventually manifest. In your words, your actions, your decisions. And it all started with one glance, one headline, one image. You are a funnel. You pull in whatever you look at. And from that, your reality is built. Watch yourself. Watch your thoughts. Watch what you look at. Watch how you feel. Every sensation inside you is a signal. If after a video you feel heavy, anxious, afraid, turn it off. Don't analyze. Don't justify. Turn it off and go elsewhere. You are not obligated to digest all the horror of the world. You are not meant to process other people's fears. You are not a container. You are alive. I know how this works. Not from articles or videos, but from people close to me. One of my close friends suffered panic attacks for almost a year and a half. Every day, wave after wave, a feeling like dying, without reason, without warning, fear that paralyzes, suffocates, drives you insane. He went to doctors, therapists, diagnostics. They all said the same thing: you're healthy, just relax. But he couldn't. He called ambulances. He didn't sleep. No one understood what was happening. Until one day, he did. It all started with what he let inside. Every news story triggered him. Every story about death, politics, destruction burrowed into his mind and created another attack. He wasn't living. He was burning himself from the inside. One day he made a decision. He would no longer let darkness enter him. He began watching only light, kind, humorous content. Stand-up comedy, positive shows, simple, warm films. Not as entertainment, as therapy. And it worked. He pulled himself out. No pills, no diagnoses, no magic words. Just by changing the stream. 15 years have passed. He is one of the most joyful, positive people I know. He laughs. He lives. He shines. He doesn't watch horror. He doesn't consume the news. He knows the price of every emotion. And he is alive because one day he said, I will no longer let in what destroys me. So if you feel overwhelmed, don't look for someone to blame. Look for where you opened the channel, where you let someone else's fear inside, where you gave pain permission to become yours, and simply close that valve. Switch. Choose differently. Choose life. Because you are not a victim. You are focus. You are vibration. You are someone who can reassemble themselves. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.